little sponsorship here from Big Crush Soda. That's our man over there, Big Crush. If you guys want some of the finest ginger beer in Tampa, Florida, apparently he's going to be selling at the Marriott. Was it the Marriott?
That's what he just told me.
And Meacham Urban Farm and a couple other places, as well as Cigar City Cider. So
Big Tim.
Big Crush.
Big Tim.
Big guy, yeah. Anyway,
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, buddy. What's going on? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Mm.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I mean, look, you and I have known each other for
Quite some time.
A while. Been through a couple different phases of both of our lives, and I don't know, but it's sick. It's like, it's fun to have the opportunity to reflect on and like.
I feel like we growed up together, you know?
We definitely are still growing up together. I would definitely say still growing up. But yeah, so we're here at Cigar City Cider, and this is the home of King of the Coop in its current iteration. Yeah, I don't know if you want to like talk about that, how you got here, what the deal is, and.
Well, we have been through some changes since we opened in 2019, you know?
2019 was Seminole Heights.
2019 was our original location, Seminole Heights. And then it was like, I think you said it earlier, how it seemed like a rocket ship. Like
I was there for it.
Yeah, you were multiple times.
Yeah,
in and out. Multiple
Yeah.
times, like to help me out and then to re-help me out. And
to criticize and walk away. Sorry, we all learn.
We do. And we signed a second lease in our second location in Wesley Chapel, and then we moved into a space in St. Pete's, and then we moved into a space in Soho, and then we just outgrew our little spot in Seminole Heights. You know, by the time we left that location, we were doing $40,000 a week in sales just in that one location, and it was
the small one in Seminole Heights.
Yeah.
So we were talking about regret earlier. We were talking about regret earlier. You said you had no regrets, so let's dig into that one. I mean, $40,000 a week, by the way, folks, is not bad. It's not bad for a spot. I don't know what your rent was, but it's not bad.
And it's not bad when our average price was $10.99 for a basket of chicken.
You were putting it through. Well, it's interesting because it's like, again, I've known you for quite a while, and I know you as a person to be extremely passionate and extremely dedicated to quality and execution and those things from a food standpoint. Obviously, on a personal level, you're a tremendous individual as well, but just in the professional sense, it's so interesting to see it, and I think it's something for me, especially like with Supernatural, is like, okay, when is good enough in the context of what is there, how fast is too fast, how much is too much, all of those things, and I really reflect on that example because, I think there are these pressures that you feel to expand, to grow, and sometimes they rub up against who you are as an individual, right? You're a quality-minded, execution-minded individual, and you have those challenges.
I mean, for me, when we first opened and our first expansion into Wesley Chapel, it was still just me. And the idea of like as the owner of the company, right? Like myself and my wife. And after Wesley Chapel, kind of had this idea of where we wanted to go with the business, but we didn't know how to get there ourselves. And it's when I brought in other people. And when I brought in other people to get to a certain place that we wanted to go, we had to do certain things. And at first it was like, okay, let's do this. And then those certain things didn't sit well with me as a person.
Well, I mean, you end up taking full responsibility at the end of the day. Like, even if the business
100%.
wasn't yours, if you're Colonel Sanders and KFC sucks, like somebody's gonna be like, "Yo, Colonel, what's going on, dude?"
And it just got to the point where I didn't want to go where we were going anymore. Not that way. Right? I'm not the type of person to build something on the backs of others. People that have worked with me before might say differently. Right? And I can understand where they're coming from. But also I understand, like, people go to work and sometimes hate their job, no matter what. Right? Like, oh, I'm working for somebody else. And I get that. But I
also think that, just to add a little bit to that, like the concept of grace in that regard, like the belief that because you own something, you have the full capacity and comprehension to know every day what's going to happen, where you're going to go, and how maybe your initial reaction might differ from your reaction if you were able to take 2 seconds to think about it. Like, I think there are a lot of criticisms around decisions that are made when it's like, obviously if I can reflect on it, like I would do it differently or whatever. But
And people always have some advice to tell you until it's their checkbook.
right.
At the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Once somebody else starts stroking the check, then it's a different story, right? At the end of the day, at one point we had about 75 employees, and that pressure of it's not just me and my family, right? It's 75 other families that rely on decisions that ultimately, at the end of the day, I was being the face of King of the Coop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's a big weight, and it's a fantastic honor too.
Right.
At the time, I had became a version of myself that I didn't know. You saw it. We had plenty of conversations, and I was making decisions that were financial decisions because of where we were at the standpoint. I mean, look, we went through COVID. During COVID, we got busier, but then our prices that we paid for product more than doubled.
Yeah.
And then people expect the same price, right? Or like, oh, why'd you raise your price this much or this much? And it's like, well, we had to, you know? And once I started making decisions that were financially driven and not driven based off of our team, and then our customers. Once I switched that idea in my head to like, now we gotta do the opposite, is when things started going crazy. Right? Because I felt like every day we were slipping away from the quality and consistency and chasing a dollar. Not even a dollar, chasing pennies. You know, and once you're in that position, that's it. I don't know how to pull that back. Except for just let it crumble. And then rebuild. And it sounds silly to say that.
No, I mean, I think that, I don't know. I haven't been in that situation, so.
Good.
You know,
I'm happy for you.
Well,
and I pray you never do.
I don't know, man. I mean, but I think that there's something admirable about a willingness to expand, a willingness to take on those pressures and do those things, regardless of whether you feel like it was totally like who you are. That's how you learn who you are as well, right?
Yeah, like you said, like the criticisms, you know, it's easy for people to sit back and say, oh, you should have done this, or oh, you should do this, or oh, you should do that. And at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we could do all that. But is it going to change our position? Is it going to make us better? Is telling me what I should have done going to be any different than what I'm already telling myself? It's like betting parlays, right? Like, oh man, I should have picked this team to win and I would have won my parlay. Okay, like things are easier said after the fact for sure, and everybody nowadays has an opinion, and everybody wants to give their opinion, and everybody thinks their opinion is valuable, right? And I started listening to the opinions of those that were around me that weren't as important to me as other people in my life. And I stopped listening to the important people in my life's opinions and started listening to other opinions. And I think as business owners, that's one of the things, right? Like you see reviews, and either good or bad, right? And I think there's a pit to fall into there.
So then how has that, we'll call it a learning, but like how has all of that learning affected where you guys are now? And like maybe you can elaborate, like explain kind of where the business is now. And
well, we closed all 5 restaurants.
Okay.
And it led to the demise of that. A lot of people lost jobs. I lost a lot of friendships, a lot of business partnerships, but a lot of those were things that weren't true. You know, like when I say true, like it's easy to walk away from things when it gets hard, and it's easy to blame others when shit gets tough. And I blamed a lot of people when everything first started happening, right? And then what I realized was, at the end of the day, it was me. I was the owner, even though I brought on partners. I was the owner. I made the decisions that allowed us as a business to go on with what other people were saying, rather than saying, no guys, we're taking our ship this way. And you know, you've always related to me in the idea of like a coach for a football team, and like, we have this football, which way do we need to go? And I stopped directing which way we needed to go and started following direction, because I thought I needed to, because I didn't know how to go. I know we needed to go this way, but I didn't know how to go that way. Right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, being the coach I failed at basically leading the brand into
Yeah.
where we're headed.
Okay.
Which leads us to here,
Right.
right?
I was gonna say, right. So then the question just becomes like, you're obviously still in existence.
Yes.
Right. Like that didn't
Still
that
moving
didn't
forward.
end, amazingly.
I know, dude.
It's crazy, but
Yeah.
but it is. But it's like, there's something to be said for that. And I think now in my in my experience and what I've heard is that it's as good. Like the product, the experience from that end is as good as it's ever been, which is a really reassuring thing to hear because
Yeah.
that,
Well, you have
that
no
tells
idea.
me that it tells me that you're back in touch with it, but then also now you've got all of those prior experiences, good, bad, however you want to term them, to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
And to develop relationships that are actually going to serve you and the
Yeah.
business and your,
Plus,
staff.
I know what I won't do anymore.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Like it sounds silly, but I'm glad what happened. And I'm glad it happened when it happened, rather than because we were on the verge of like franchising. And thankfully that didn't happen because it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm glad that what happened. I'm not glad at the people that were affected. Team members, some of my partners lost a great deal of money, and I'm not happy about that. But for the brand itself, I think I needed to be in that position to lose ultimately,
Yeah.
to really bring me back down to earth and make me realize who I am
Yeah.
and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do,
Right.
and really how I want to see this forward, right? Like, I don't care about franchising now.
Yeah.
We actually have some partnership deals up in Connecticut. We have a partnership deal in Amalie, and then we're open here, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're definitely not doing 40,000 a week sales
Right.
out of here. I would love to,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I started the business, and you were there when I did, in the idea of like, I cared about how we made our money, not how much money we made. And then it got to the point when we expanded and it wasn't just me in the driver's seat, that I started to care about how much we made rather than how we made it.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to, I don't want to go that direction anymore.
Right.
So I learned to say no a lot more.
Yeah. That's good. So what are you most excited about?
What am I
Coop?
most
King of the Coop?
excited about?
We'll call this 2.0.
2.0.
Right.
Honestly, I'm most excited about the opportunities that have yet to come. I'm excited about people seeing the changes that we've made and getting back to what we do best, which is cooking the best damn chicken in the area.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I'm always asking the question of where do you get fried chicken? I mean, aside from here, and I'm excited to cook some with you and do all that as well, because I haven't had good fried chicken in a while. But I'm always asking that. So it's an interesting question. I feel like it's a pretty wide open field for you.
Yeah, dude, it's tough. Like, honest to God, one of the best places I've had in the area outside of us was in a gas station. And then I had it not too long ago, and it was the worst fried chicken I've had.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we were at the mall the other night, so we went to this
Admit it. Come on.
chain freaking restaurant, and I'm like, They had this
Which one? Name it.
We went to
Say its name.
P.F. Chang's.
P.F. Chang's. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. They got the good chicken. They got the little, what is it, General Tso's?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
But they got this new Korean
it's bad.
fried.
It's
Yeah, it's terrible, dude.
Yeah, it's bad.
They got this new Korean fried.
When you're in the airport,
chicken.
though. Yeah, it's like, whatever.
They got this Korean fried bone-in chicken on their menu, and my fat ass got the for two people, and said 6 pieces. I'll crush 6 pieces of fried chicken. And told the guy, I was like, man, I just want dark meat. And he was like, that's all it is. Comes out, it's 12 pieces of chicken. It's all mixed, like white and dark meat. And I'm biting into it, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like they fried a damn donut on some parts of this chicken, right? Like, just so doughy and, Oh,
Yeah.
God. You know, there's another place, and she's a local, small mom and pop place, Kay's Kitchen. She does Chicago-style fried chicken.
Where's that?
So she had a spot off of Falkenberg. I know she's in Riverview, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Like, she does really good fried chicken, too.
Yeah.
Fantastic, dude. If you get a chance, go to Kay's Kitchen.
Yeah. All right.
But outside of that,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, people, what I learned about fried chicken is most people overcomplicate it.
Okay.
And I was one of those people for the longest time. It's like, oh, we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we got to buttermilk this. And it's like,
Yeah.
I became anti-buttermilk. I don't put any egg, and I don't even use any flour. Keep it simple.
Yeah. So as the king of the coop, I'm gonna need you to come back to my place, teach me how to make fried chicken.
We can do that.
I've got to make a good impression this evening, so I'm gonna use your fried chicken.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. No.
It takes some time.
Takes some time. Takes a lot of love. And you've
Lot of
got
love.
apparently you got the cast iron pot, so it's
Yeah,
as
you
real
need
deal
that
as
Dutch
it could
oven,
possibly
you
be.
know?
That's right.
You know, that's how KFC used to do it when they first started out.
I believe it.
So actually, my Aunt Betty was best friends with Colonel Sanders.
Okay.
And all KFCs used to
Actually,
do...
Colonel Sanders had a lot of best friends. You know what I'm saying? You're the colonel, you know. Right.
used to do all their chicken in cast iron
Okay.
skillets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when the systems we have didn't exist. That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. You start thinking about that stuff, and you're just like,
Can you imagine how long it'd take you to fry an 8-piece? It's like,
I
you
know.
come back
I
tomorrow.
know, and it was still like 10 cents.
They're just giving chicken
nowadays
away.
you do that, you got to be like working as like a private chef for Tom Brady or something. Just
Oh,
like,
dude, you know what's crazy is like I
Not Tom Brady, he
priced
didn't eat
out because I want to do bone-in chicken, right? And everybody asks us, "Oh, when you doing bone-in chicken?" You even brought it up earlier about like
yeah,
quarters,
yeah,
right?
I'm ready for it.
And I loved it, and people wanted it, and then we put it on our menu, and people didn't order it.
It's because you didn't have it as an 8-piece bucket. Dude, you need a bucket.
I
It's
know.
the bucket. People aren't in it. They're not in it for the chicken. They're in it for the word bucket. It's the hard K.
I am too. You know,
Dude,
like if you
it
got a
literally is
bucket
it.
of chicken,
Yo,
I'm
can I get a
ordering.
bucket of chicken? They want a bucket of beer. They want a bucket of chicken. They want, like, let's be
Yeah.
honest, like a bucket
But the
of popcorn.
pricing, dude.
It's- Yeah.
So you can go to Publix. Everybody's had a dry ass Publix rotisserie chicken, and it's $7 and like 12 cents.
$7.29.
$7.29.
Yeah.
It cost me $7.24 for a raw whole chicken.
Yes.
That's not cooking it, processing it, nothing. $7.24.
Yeah.
So pricing wise,
Yeah, I think that they've got a little bit of wiggle
they
room.
got that buying power.
They got buying power, but that's okay. That's not what we're here for. We're here for a unique, excellent product.
Yeah.
Anyway, but well, that was great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
I'm glad you're still alive.
Me too, man. Like, I actually had a heart attack through all of it.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
I didn't know I had one until I went to the doctor and they ran some tests and they're like, "Ooh."
You're like, you had a heart attack.
You
You're
have
like,
had a heart
"No,
attack."
That wasn't shit.
So like my theme song from Beyonce, "I Am Survivor," you know, like
Okay.
that's what
Too soon.
we should lead into that with the video.
Yeah.
But come see us, man. You
Yeah.
know, we need people to come see us.
Come
in
see them.
Ybor City, you know, we're inside Cigar City
Yeah.
Cider and Mead. They just changed their hours too to kind of match up with ours a little bit, and
And it's beautiful in here. They
it's
redid
beautiful.
the
Yeah,
interior.
that,
It's
we have
super bright.
outside seating too on the patio, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
In here is great. The drinks they have, you know, they're over there canning some Big Crush right now, but
Yeah.
they make cider here. They make mead here.
It's a beautiful spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic, dude.
All right.
Family friendly,
We like families.
you know.
Pro family.
You got to pay for parking in Ybor, but anywhere you go nowadays,
Yeah.
you got to pay for parking.
Thank you, Jane Castor. All right.
Oh, also we got to give a shout out to Matt's Fat Cookies in here too.
Shout out to Matt's Fat Cookies.
Matt's Fat Cookies, bud.
Matt McKean.
Matt McKean, Don McKean, two of my best friends.
Making it happen.
Yeah,
They have
crushing
been
it.
making
They are
happen.
crushing it, bro.
Like, yeah, when I say making it happen, that you're right. They are crushing it. Like,
They are
when they tell
crushing
me
it.
like the numbers they do at some of these
I
markets,
know.
I'm like,
It's wild,
good
dude.
for
Like,
you guys. Yeah.
They're. I want to be like them.
I mean, you know, small is beautiful.
It is, dude.
Hell yeah, buddy. Let's
Thanks,
go
brother.
cook some chicken. All right.
All right.
Cool. So what are we working on?
We're gonna make some fried chicken.
All right, let's do it.
All
So
right.
all right. So first thing, what are we doing here?
We're gonna make a brine.
Okay.
Right. So
What is a brine? Just
A brine. What is a brine? I haven't had to ever answer that question. I just know that. So what a brine is used for, it's to pull out moisture and then have the meat suck it back in and impart flavor, and it's how you keep meat moist. You know.
Okay.
That's
how you keep your meat moist.
You gotta keep your meat
one,
moist.
That's certainly one way.
We got 2 cups of water.
Okay.
Right. We have about a 1/4 cup of white sugar. We have 1/4 cup plus 3 tablespoons of
a heaping 1/4 cup. Roughly.
Kosher salt. We got about 20 black peppercorns.
Beautiful.
We have some dried thyme and rosemary. We're gonna throw in there some sage. I love sage, especially with the
I don't use sage
poultry.
ever.
No,
I should.
Oh,
now that I have it in my pantry, I'm gonna use.
It reminds me of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
I
always
love
a good reminder.
So dry sage.
All right.
Bay leaf. Bay leaf just kind of helps. I don't know. It kind of helps mellow all the harshness to me of the other. And then I like to just take the garlic. I don't make this any kind of fancy anything, and I'll just throw the whole thing in there. Cut it up. Now we're gonna bring this to a boil and let it steep for about 20 minutes.
Beautiful.
And then we're gonna add another 2 to 3 cups of cold water, just to cool it down.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So while that's working, while that's coming up to a boil, do you want to break down the chicken? Do we want to make the breading?
We'll break down the chicken.
Okay.
I prefer to do it this way. If you can buy a whole chicken and know how to break it down, super simple. Do that. Save yourself some money over buying broken down chicken. All right, so there's one key thing that you got to remember, and you got to protect the skin on the breast.
Okay.
It's the thinnest. It's the easiest way to lose skin.
Got it.
Right. So what I like to do is take the wings first. So I just kind of cut around, and you'll feel the joint.
Yep.
Right, and you just cut.
Pop right in there.
Yeah,
All
that's it. And then same with the other side. Joint.
Beautiful.
Bring it around. You'll make an incision for the leg and thigh on both sides.
Yeah, and you kind of start to see in there where it.
Yep. And then it's simple, just pop it.
That's my favorite.
So right here we have, this is where the rib cage is gonna be, and you want to kind of, that's where you want to start to help protect the breast skin, right there.
Rib cage.
Rib cage,
That line.
right there.
Also super interesting with chicken and like where you have bones and these joints. So like it's an obvious, like the bone runs right here along that line of fat.
Yep.
The joint runs there along that line of fat, and like the rib cage along that. So chickens were built for cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break them down. Once you crack the joint, right? This right here is the most tender part of the chicken. A little nub right there.
Which is
It's
what?
called the oyster.
The oyster. Okay.
Right? So it sets down in its own
Yeah,
little.
it's like a super dark.
Come around.
Go here. If you could just turn it afterwards, maybe like after you cut them.
Come around.
And I gave you the hardest knife to use.
That's all right. I'm gonna just cut that like that. That's our first leg and thigh. We do the same to the other side. Pop the joint right there. And just follow that.
Beautiful.
Right. Now we're gonna separate these two. So like you said, this is where the joint is. So what I like to do is just hold the bone up and then just kind of cut down at an angle. And you'll cut right through. Same to the other side. So now we got both legs and thighs. Now for the breast. Like I said, keeping that breast skin intact. We want to kind of be very careful. So what I like to do is crack the backbone off through the rib cage like that on both sides, and just follow that down.
All right.
So for this, we're gonna take, you got the breastplate, run our knife, and pop it down. And hope we didn't mess up the breast skin.
Nope, it's perfect.
There we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, you asked me earlier if I make 8-way or 10-way chicken. You go to the store, you're buying 8-way chicken, right? But this is a big piece of meat to fry. And as it tapers, this end's gonna be dry and this end's gonna be hopefully cooked all the way.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is make them even sizes, basically. So what I'm gonna find is where it's kind of gonna be 2 pieces, and just cut it down. All right, so we got, that's basically.
Damn, brother, you could almost do like an 11-piece chicken or 12-piece
know.
chicken. Like,
Keep the skin there, but see how it's kind of basically the same size now?
yeah.
And we just do the same to the other side.
Is there a preference if I were going to get chicken pre-cut? Is there a preference in the bone-in versus bone-out? So they have like the boneless chicken thighs. They have the
Phew. I'm
boneless chicken breast versus.
a bone-in kind of guy. They say bone equals flavor. In frying, I don't think it adds flavor. I think it adds a protection between the hot oil and the meat itself.
Okay.
The bottom piece is the bone, the top piece is the skin, and it kind of helps seal everything in.
Okay.
So for me, bone in all the way.
All right.
But that's how we break it down.
Perfect. Be eating soup left and right, extra protein. So the brine is still hot. Do we want to add this cold water here?
Yep, we're gonna add the
Maybe
cold
a
water
cup of
there.
ice or something.
Yep. So then what we'll do is we'll add equal parts of that ice.
That's, all
So
right.
2 cups ice.
Bear with me. ASMR, baby.
So now we're just gonna get in there. I'm gonna dump everything in. Some people like to strain. I like to just dump it all
Yeah.
in, right? Less dishes, you know?
Beautiful.
With this, you're gonna brine for minimum 2 hours. I would say maximum would be, because we broke it down, 6. You're gonna pull a lot of that salt in, and then what's gonna happen is if you bring too much of it in, it's gonna make the meat tough.
Okay.
If you left the chicken whole, which you can do,
Yeah.
and then break it down after it's brined, you can do like 12 hours,
Okay.
right? Then we're just gonna put this in the cooler.
In the fridge. Let's do it. Don't look at my fridge.
All right, breader.
All right, so we are making the fry mix. What
Yeah.
You're calling it a breader.
I call it a breader. Now this is a little different than we use in a shop, but it's for us, and neither one of us are gluten intolerant.
Yeah, because at the shop you guys use 100% cornstarch? Or
No,
what?
we use cornstarch and potato starch.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So here we're gonna use some good flour
Okay.
and cornstarch. Now the ratio, you want your cornstarch to be, it's like a 4-to-1, right? So we'll do 1 part cornstarch
Yep,
to 4 parts flour.
correct.
All right. What cornstarch does is it keeps it all silky smooth, but it also, cornstarch allows it to crisp pretty good. All right, so we're just gonna do a little cup of that.
We have a nice big container here for breading. I didn't have a smaller one, but
Bigger's better.
bigger is better. So if you have a big,
Size matters.
even if you have like a big pot or something that you're not using for the frying, but you can use for this purpose, it's super helpful.
So that's 2 cups of flour. That's 4 cups. So 4 cups of flour, 1 cup of cornstarch, and then I keep my mix very simple. A lot of people season, like they add all kinds of different ingredients into their breader mix. I like salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah. Adding anything red like
Cayenne
or paprika,
Yeah.
it's gonna allow the crust to burn
Okay, yeah.
and
that's-
take on a
I've seen that,
very
yeah.
bitter flavor.
Okay.
And I'd rather have it nice and golden.
Okay.
So, which is why we just do black pepper and salt.
Okay. That sucks.
So now we just mix this together,
Okay.
right? And if you feel it, it feels silky smooth.
It does, yeah.
I got this big punch bowl.
Big punch bowl. All right.
So we have our brine chicken.
Beautiful.
We're gonna take it out of the brine. No sense in like really patting it dry with
Okay.
this because we're gonna go into mustard,
Got it.
right? And so I'm just gonna take it out. Now the mustard, like in barbecue, right? acts as our binder for the flour. A lot of people like to use buttermilk. I'm very anti-buttermilk in fried chicken. I think it makes your wet mix really thick.
Okay.
And I think what it does when you fry chicken is it keeps it. There's a layer underneath the breading that when you fry, bubbles in frying is moisture leaving. But what you're left over is milk solids. And it gives a little gumminess to the underside of your breading. And I don't like that.
Okay.
So, very simple, right? Just mustard. Put it in the breader. Make sure your skin.
Do you want me to bread these while you...
Yeah, so I'm a fat guy, and I like to watch videos on fried chicken. And I saw a video, and this other chef was doing fried chicken, and he said that he has found that the key is tossing it 60 times. And I tried it. And it is a huge difference.
Have you tried 61?
I have not.
Have you tried 59?
No, just
okay.
60.
All right. So is that what you want me to do right now?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
All right. Does that count as 1?
That would be, yeah.
2?
To make more breader. We got more. It's a labor of love.
That's why it was a long video. ain't got nothing to do with the recipe.
But in tossing this 60 times, which sounds crazy, what it does is it creates all the crevices and nooks and crannies that we look for.
That wavy chicken.
Yeah.
We like that wavy
That
chicken.
makes it crispy and crunchy. And then all you do is shake it.
Tap.
Yep, shake the excess, but look.
All right. Skin side up.
Skin side up.
All right. This one we won't need. All right.
Simple, simple. All right. So now that we've breaded our chicken 60 times, we're gonna fry. We got our little Dutch oven here. I like using cast iron for this. Cast iron's gonna hold the heat more even.
Okay.
All right. So when you fry, you're gonna fry like with like, yeah. So dark meat with dark meat, white meat with white meat.
Wings with wings.
I do wings and I will do legs together. Obviously, you don't want to have your oil all the way to the top.
Yep.
I do like about a halfway.
Yep. Yeah, because otherwise it's gonna boil over.
Yeah. Once the chicken's in there, obviously it's gonna float to the bottom. So what you want to do is let it go for like a minute or two, and then we're gonna just kind of move it around. Now here's where we'll adjust our temperature down. Right, because we want it to be golden, not burnt. Watch out for splattering. That's another thing.
All right, I'm gonna eat a piece of chicken off this fucking thing right now. The question is, do you
Is
have
it cooked all the way?
No, do you have ketchup? Oh. Oh my god, fucking delicious.
Look at that.
That's hot.
Perfect.
No, it's very good.
I don't like a thick breading.
No, it's perfect. She's looking good.
Yeah.
All right.
Now from here you can add extra seasonings.
What do you want to do for seasoning?
You take fresh herbs and salt and pepper and grind them down, sprinkle it on top, or we can just do regular salt and pepper.
Why don't we do the whole damn thing?
You want to do the whole damn thing?
Why not? Can we? We got it.
Yeah.
Right? We got it to do it.
Picking some herbs. Just throw it all in there.
That's right, yeah.
Here you go.
All right, so you got the herbs in there.
So we got a little thyme and rosemary, black pepper,
Black pepper.
good amount of salt, you know.
Good amount of salt.
Mix it all up.
And this is just a light over the top, aromatic.
There's a little
Oh, you can smell it already coming off the heat.
finish. You know, something a little different. If you have like a little lemon zest would be good in this too. You know, do both sides. And then, Into our little bowl
And then
right
into
here.
our little bowl here.
Shouts
We're gonna-
out, Nate.
Shouts out to our buddy Nate from
Yeah.
Mighty Fine.
Mighty fine.
All right, presentation's everything, folks.
Yeah, skin side up.
Inside up. Yeah.
Raw pieces at the bottom. They have time to cook.
Yep. I'm gonna put that thigh right here because I'm gonna
Nice.
eat that one.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I'm a thigh guy all the way.
Oh, thigh.
And we got all this, so might as well just in the world of excess.
That looks unfucking believable.
Yeah, that's some good fried chicken right there, bud.
All right.
Simple. Simple.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, buddy. Fried chicken, it's delicious. You should definitely make it.
Yeah.
Or get it at King and Coop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg, get this before I do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you gotta have like a Shazam. What you gotta have something to like sign out all your videos. Shazam.
No.
Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake.
Yeah.
It's better off of Nate's face. What?